I don't see them on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Shoot 'em down, bow, 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 kill 'em dead. Shoot 'em down, got a body by the minute now. I don't see them on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Shoot 'em down, bow, 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 kill 'em dead. Shoot 'em down, got a body by the minute now. I don't wanna see you fraternize with the crew. Read my lips, I tell no lies. Me and you, never gonna intertwine. Now get your ass up out my face, cause I'm about to shine. Do it very well, you know I did it. Raise the bar, they retreat back in their feelings. All of my enemies and frenemies, battle scars. Take my winnings with a motherfucking grain of salt. Salty, I don't see them on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Shoot 'em down, bow, 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 kill 'em dead. Shoot 'em down, got a body by the minute now. I don't see 'em on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Me and you, never gonna intertwine. Now get your ass up out my face, cause I'm about to shine. Do it very well, you know I did it. Raise the bar, they retreat back in their feelings. All of my enemies and frenemies, battle scars. Take my winnings with a motherfucking grain of salt. Salty, I don't see them on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Shoot 'em down, bow, 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 kill 'em dead. Shoot 'em down, got a body by the minute now. I don't see them on the losing side. They be riding for the reason they be genocide. Shoot 'em down.
Shawty go nuts, yeah, shawty go crazy. Game like an Xbox, but no, you can't play me. Shawty got the whole club geek like the 80s. Life for the party, they say shawty go crazy. 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 Hey, I be feeling like the man when I walk through. Couple grand on my feet, then my boss shoot. Balenciagas for my baby, she a boss too. And check the tag, I ain't care what it costs. I'm the life of the party, but you already knew though. Got them all up in my section, tryna kick it like judo. Turn to the mag, pockets heavy like sumo. I number 2 on track, but they tell me I'm the uno. Yeah, I'm second guessing, yeah, we flexing, it's a blessing, yeah. 100 bottles, got them all up in my section, yeah. Nicholas Cage had them going in 60 seconds, yeah. Danny Glover, shawty go nuts, yeah, shawty go crazy. Game like an Xbox, but no, you can't play me. Shawty got the whole club geek like the 80s. Life for the party, they say shawty go crazy. 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 Hey, one hell of a feeling. I'm in love with the money, but attracted to women. Swagger to official, tell a ref, blow the whistle. Whole squad got protection if they wanna press the issue. So keep your man in check. With all this ice on my neck, I demand respect. I ain't worried about my pockets, I just cash me a check. And I ain't bougie last call, we going straight to the jacks. You can't see me, something special like a unicorn. I keep numbers on me, boy, like a uniform. Tour bus, contraband like a college dorm. Tour bus, contraband like a shawty go nuts, yeah, shawty go crazy. Game like an Xbox, but no, you can't play me. Shawty got the whole club geek like the 80s. Life for the party, they say shawty go crazy. 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 Hey.
Tunnel, the midnight train. I need to dump somebody. I'm out to stake my claim. Straight up ahead, I'm a radical. 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 Oh, in a Bowery basement, underneath my knife, we are the politicians. We shaping lives. Straight up ahead, I'm a radical. 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 This ain't no big screen movie. Nobody fooling around. So tonight's gonna be your big break. We're gonna write your story down. From the fields of Mississippi to the freight yards of Chicago, or to the meadowlands of Jersey, out to the the deserts of El Paso. That's when I had my revolution. Got my own quiet revolution. So many revolutionary destinations. I see the traces on the late night news. If you believe in miracles, if you believe in pain, oh, they don't find me now. So to make a change, I'm time to wake into my back post. I lay the waste of things I hate the most. I make the last stand for the practical. Straight up ahead, I'm a radical. 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 Straight up ahead, I'm a radical.
What's up, guys? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Eddie. This is my co-host Jay over here, and we got Miggy behind the camera.
What's up?
Like always, you know, we got the old classic crew in. Nothing special.
Jay's still holding the peace sign. He's kind of frozen. He doesn't know what to do since he's finally back in the studio.
Yeah, it's new, bro. I've been away for a week.
1 week.
It's like new air he's breathing.
Atrophied, you know, the muscles have atrophied. I don't know what to do. I did pretty well though yesterday in jiu-jitsu. I was kind of impressed. I thought I'm gonna be like a, but no, I think I did pretty okay.
I mean, it's been a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks,
3.
3 now. Well, yeah, that is gonna make you feel a little weird coming back. I mean, yesterday we just kind of flow rolled though. After drilling and stuff, we didn't really do too much, and you didn't even drill with us or anything. You kind of just did a couple rounds.
Yeah,
I
did a typical purple belt.
Yeah, you were being a purple belt as you should.
He was giving us the coaching rundown not too long ago.
Yeah, he tried teaching the white belts bolo rolls. That didn't go too well.
Nah, he didn't try to teach white belts. Do not give on no damn fake news. I'm gonna pull a President Trump on you right now. So this is what happened.
You sound like President Trump doing shit and talking about his fake news when it definitely happened.
Yeah, this is what happened. I told him I got a fancy one. I don't do this a lot, but this is a fancy one. You know, here's one fancy one. So break it up a little bit from the basics. And that's exactly what it was. It was a fancy one, but that fancy one don't work.
The
So,
fancy one don't work.
like I said, Jay tried teaching the white belts to bolo roll, and that didn't go very well.
Yeah, because white belts don't know how to bolo roll.
So what fake news was there?
What happened, Jay? What happened?
gotta give the
Explain to
total-
us what went wrong.
The fancy moves I don't like myself, right? Like, so I don't like any of the fancy shit. I usually try not to do any of the fancy shit when I'm rolling. But, you know, they're always fucking on Instagrams and YouTubes and all that bullshit. So they want to learn the fancy shit. So
I didn't say
I was
that.
like, all right, there's the fancy one. I don't know how to do it.
Who
you know?
said that? Who said they want to learn the fancy shit?
What you mean?
Don't get me wrong. I did. I want to learn some fancy shit.
Well, there you go then. What you mean?
What are you guys looking up on your phone? Evidence?
No,
No,
we're
I'm
looking up
pulling up
actually.
chat.
I
Are you guys gonna
fucking-
go in front of the judge and be like, in Exhibit A, we have.
No,
Actually, it's funny. I did ask Jay yesterday about how he felt about recording rolls which I'm probably gonna start doing.
Yeah, I'm down for recording rolls. Shit. Where are we gonna post that?
It's not to post it.
Oh, just in general. Oh, you mean like recording and then seeing if you're like.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
improve my
no.
game.
I think that's a great fucking idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be weird to record like the classes and then post them out there just because then like what's the point of signing up?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No,
Well, not necessarily that, because you still need someone to be there and kind of teach you. Because, like when we're drilling, we all run, not always, but a lot of times we'll run into different problems. So like this one thing that you might be doing wrong is not. I might be doing that just fine, but I might be doing something else wrong that you might be doing just fine.
Forgot you like to look at my face. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
man. Here,
for sure.
yeah, let me move this monitor a little bit so you can
yeah,
see.
much better now.
New
We can
shaved
actually
face.
see him.
Oh yeah, Miggy's got a new
Don't tell him that.
style
Don't
he's
tell
rocking
him
today.
that.
Put yourself on camera, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Spot-
put myself on camera.
Support
Hold
that shit, bro.
I don't know how you want him to do that.
Didn't you have like a little camera thingy?
I
Yeah,
have
but
my
we took
webcam
it
in
down.
my
It's
room.
all right.
Yeah, it's all good.
That we could bring in if we wanted to, but I think Miggy's kind of sick of that little webcam anyways.
I like sitting behind here in my lonely.
Don't
corner.
worry, one day we're gonna get you a camera, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
guys,
On
like.
the-
By the
on
way, like,
4K, just
subscribe.
us.
Like, subscribe. There's Vitality, guys. I mean, y'all know the deal. We gotta get Miggy a camera. Come on, guys. Share.
Let us know who's in the chat. We'd like to know. It looks like we got a few people.
So there's some power tools apparently that you should avoid, right? I don't really know much about construction. So what are some tools here
Just don't go to Harbor Freight.
that you shouldn't get? You know, that's funny because my grandpa loves going to Harbor Freight. My
Yeah,
other grandpa.
all
Everybody
cheap
does.
Latinos love going to
Everybody
Harbor
does,
Freight.
no?
Well, I mean, look at it this way too. Harbor
By the
Freight
way,
is
I like
not
your
bad.
shirt. It's very nice and vibrant. At least on camera, it is.
Oh, the
It's
shirt.
a nice
Thank
color,
you.
yeah.
It's the second
I
time
don't
we
know if it's
complimented.
the lighting, but like it looks a lot more vibrant on camera. It looks
Oh
nice.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight isn't necessarily the worst thing for people
It's
that are
not.
trying to do like a weekend project. You're gonna use this tool
Well,
once
it
anyway,
depends.
and then you're gonna get rid of you're just gonna sit in a drawer or a closet or whatever for years at a time. So you don't really need something that's gonna last, and you're looking for a cheap solution. Like maybe you do need like a drill for one project. Yeah, maybe go to Harbor Freight and pick up the $30, $40, $50 drills instead of going and spending $100. Because even when you go to Home Depot and you buy the cheapest Ryobi one, still going to cost you like probably 80, $90 minimum, and probably more than that in reality with the battery and all that shit that it comes with.
Because a lot of the time they be selling you the almost take down the whole fucking studio.
It's like a starter kit.
A lot of the time they sell you a whole entire bundle.
Yeah.
So here's the thing to me. If you're buying a hammer, bro, get it at Harbor Freight. If you're buying a sledgehammer, get it at Harbor Freight. If you're buying a rubber mallet, get it at Harbor Freight. If you're buying like those legs, if you want to prop your car up while you're doing the oil change, get that shit at Harbor Freight. But then when you go into like, more of like things that are moving and spinning and shit like that, you probably want to avoid here.
Yeah,
I
totally agree with that. My grandpa's the type of guy though that if you give him the chance to buy a fucking saw from Temu, he'd buy a fucking saw.
See, but this is the thing though. It's like I don't know if I necessarily agree with the whole hammers and like the rubber mallets and stuff.
But there is a big difference
because
in good
there's definitely a
hammers,
difference in a good quality. Like if you're someone that's actually using this for work,
Yeah.
there's a difference in
You
a
want
in a
something
good
to
quality.
last.
Huh?
You want something to last.
Not
that
only
has a
last,
good warranty
bro.
on
And
it, too.
it's efficient, right? So like for
Husky
example,
products is something that I really like. They have a really good warranty on their products.
say again,
Husky products.
Husky, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
At least
like-
on their wrenches and stuff like that, I know they have a really good warranty, and that's why I got a whole.
Well,
entire
most of the
setup.
main brand tools like Milwaukee and all these guys, they usually have a pretty decent warranty. Or for example, when I used to do fencing, the hole diggers, those like the ones that you throw into the ground,
manual
you
ones.
Yeah, you were there. You were
Manual
there
labor.
for my fence. Those the brand they used to sell, it was these black and red ones that were made out of was it fiberglass? Or they were maybe metal, but they had a lifetime warranty. So I remember we used to do fencing a lot, and those things would they would start to loosen up, and you can only tighten them up so much, and eventually they kind of just go to shit. And you just walk into Home Depot and hey, I have this old one, give me my new one.
Just replace
And
it.
it was just straight up just like that.
Craftsman used to be like that, and if you popped one of the wrenches, you'd take him back to Sears back in the day when Sears sold tools. Take him to Sears and then replace
When
it.
Sears was
Milwaukee's a
around,
pretty
you
good
mean?
brand, right?
Yeah, when Sears was wrong.
Snap-on is notoriously known for
Snap-on.
their lifetime warranty.
Snap-on, yeah, but also,
Also very expensive, right?
Extremely expensive.
Extremely expensive. When you talk
Does
to
Snap-on
mechanics,
sell all types of
yeah, bro.
everything.
The shit that they
Everything.
sell, you're like, what the fuck is
Think
this?
of it
But
as-
it's needed.
Initially when I thought of Snap-on, I thought of only like the Snap-on sockets.
Yeah, bro.
They sell everything.
Everything.
They sell everything.
But they're even their sockets, the shit that they have there, you're like, holy shit, I don't even know what this is. But mechanics that use it, it comes handy.
yeah,
Like,
it's
they have tools that you would probably, as a mechanic, would probably use it once in every 6 months. But they have tools like that.
Yes. Well, exactly. Their tools are mostly for mechanics. Not to say that someone who's doing construction work won't have a snap-on wrench
Yeah.
or something, you know.
Somebody
but
who's
they're more
into
they're more
quality
geared towards
tools,
mechanics.
Yeah, somebody who's into quality tools would probably go for something like that.
So mechanics also love to use Milwaukee power tools
Yes.
as their tools. Like, but then if you ask people that are like doing construction, they differ. It's between Milwaukee, between
DeWalt.
Makita, DeWalt.
Yeah.
You know, people that do construction, they'll swing back and
So
forth.
they can all say that a Ryobi fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Ryobi, yeah.
Ryobi's for the weekend
It's
project.
the
As someone
entry
who
level
does
stuff.
construction, so at one
It's for
point I used to
weekend
get a
project.
lot of construction memes, and it was kind of I used to see a lot of those where it was like when that one guy walks into the job site wearing Ryobi, and all the dudes are just like,
Yeah. Now, I do think right now DeWalt probably has the strongest batteries, and because he has the strongest batteries, their tools are more powerful because they're putting out more amps into the tool itself. So you got a lot more torque on the tools and everything. But what happens is it's like a balance, right? Like DeWalt came out with stronger batteries, now Milwaukee will come out with the stronger ones, then Makita will come out with the stronger ones, and they kind of just like go back and forth who has the better tools, right?
But I would say anything in those trio, like if you're looking for construction tools, Milwaukee,
And then
Makita,
Hilti.
I have never heard of
Hilti,
that.
Hilti,
Never heard of
Hilti, and the new ones now starts with F. I think it's like Fuse or something
and
like
there's
that, or
another
Frost.
one that they make a really good oscillating tool. I forgot the name of the brand. Oh, Bosch. Bosch makes good shit.
Bosch
Bosch
is
is
good,
expensive.
but then for oscillating tools, I also like a lot Dremel.
Bosch
Dremel
is
makes
another one of those
hella
brands
tools.
that makes all sorts of shit. I didn't even know they made like surveillance cameras.
Yeah, Bosch
And
is
super expensive.
If you
Yeah,
go
Bosch
to
is not
Lowe's,
cheap.
if you go to Lowe's, Bosch is their premium brand in
Huh.
Lowe's. You know, so
Yeah.
it depends where you're going and what
But
you're doing.
Snap-on, I think Snap-on for mechanics though is definitely like the top tier. But shit, is it expensive? Like when you ask, if you go to a mechanic shop and you see they have like a Snap-on cart, if you're close enough with the guy, just think of asking that question, like, yo, how much? What's your running line of credit with Snap-on right now, bro? These guys are in, from what I've heard, sometimes over hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt with these Snap-on tools.
Yes, they are. They are, because our friend is a mechanic. Remember, he was saying that he's like, Bailito. He was saying that he's
Oh
hella
yeah,
debt,
hella
hella debt.
hella debt when it comes to Snap. Oh, and he doesn't even have that much Snap-on.
No,
stuff.
he doesn't.
And his shop wasn't that big, you know,
No.
like, and still hella debt. But Snap-on's cool, man, because Snap-on,
But-
they have the truck that comes around. You literally can have a
It's
wrench.
delivery.
And you buy it one day, the next day it broke, it snapped in half, or 20 years later it snapped in half. You take it to Snap-on, they'll give you a new one.
So go into that list. Let's see what are they
Give
saying.
me just 1 second to pull up the YouTube stuff.
Thank
Yeah.
you, appreciate that. Not having to look down at my phone.
That's what I was doing. Looking down
Comes
on my phone.
around. You
There we go.
Perfect.
All right. Now we can come back
Hey,
to
Eddie.
our list here in the other tab.
So what is this list giving us?
For
Let's
the power
see.
tools?
Yeah.
Brand or expert avoid. Hold on.
oh, okay.
Just skip the whole entire thing.
So it looks like they're saying
Home remodeling contractor Jason Pietruska, in an exclusive interview with House of Jazz, said 3 tool brands he avoids
Yeah,
are
Ryobi.
Chicago Electric, Black & Decker, and Ryobi. Cheap
Yeah.
power tools have their use. Don't get me wrong; they can really come in handy, and sometimes you can get lucky and they last forever. But most of the time, you're buying a cheap tool for them.
I have a Ryobi tool set that is a battery powered circular saw, drill, and I think it came with a saw. This set's probably older than some of my little cousins.
Yeah, but-
that are in their teens now, and it still works.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. This is not for a contractor, right? Everyone wants to think they're a contractor. If you just install in one window in a year, like the Ryobi set will last you all your fucking
Right.
life, if not
So I'm saying,
longer.
like,
If you're putting up like I don't
Pictures.
This is funny that I give this example because I don't do it myself. When you're putting up the panels for hurricane season on the windows,
yeah, stuff like that. You know, you don't
Or you
need.
putting
I
up
laugh at
pictures
that.
and
I laugh
things
at
like
that
that.
because like at least 3 of those panels are still up in my house.
What's it called? I remember when they did Kevin's mom's house, they put a piece of plywood or something on his window, and he liked it so much because there no sunlight would come in.
Dude,
Yeah.
His window was one of the
Kept
ones
it.
on the side anyway, so his parents didn't care. Like it wasn't like it's facing the front of the house. So they just left it there. I think I don't know if till this day it's still there, but I know for a long time that piece was there, and he was like, I like it. It keeps no sunlight gets in.
I
so
need to fucking replace one of
can
my
sleep
windows
during the day and stuff.
because one of my main reasons for replacing the windows is that the AC leaks out of my bedroom because that shit's cracked. So what they did initially to pass inspection, I think, was the fucking silicone thing, and they passed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I need to get that changed.
Yeah, I had to do that. They came did the inspection on my house. Like, oh, you got a cracked window.
All right.
All right, that was a whole weekend thing because that window wasn't like traditional size, and we had to do it like quickly because right now if you order a special order window, that's gonna take 2-3 months for it to get here. So we had to buy 2 windows and then modify the actual hole, like shave down the hole, like shave down the fucking stone and like concrete and shit.
Did you rent out tools for that or?
No. I have all the tools needed. Like throughout so we've done already couple of we've done my brother's entire. Well, it all started with my bathroom, right? Several years ago. It started with my bathroom. Once we started the bathroom, we bought a set of tools, 4 tools, right? And they're pretty good. And then my brother's house came about. We bought another set of tools. Then my house came about. We bought another set of tools. So over the years, we have accumulated a lot of tools where we can go in and say, like, if construction needed to be done, we have a tool for pretty much 80% of things.
Yeah. Sometimes you might have to go out there and buy like a socket that you don't have or whatever. And
Well, sockets are not
not
necessarily
even sockets. Because sockets come in bundles, and you can.
Yeah, but not
lot of
sockets.
time.
Like at this point, I don't even know what tool I would need to go and buy because if I need a tile saw, I have it. If I need a table saw, I have it. Circular saw, I have it. Hand saw, I have it. Drills, I have it.
So I would say they don't have like a construction guy's set of tools, but they definitely have the set of tools. Like if they need to get any kind of job within the house done, they can get
it's
it
getting
done.
done.
Yeah.
Now they
Like,
don't necessarily have all
Pneumatic
the tools,
hammers is another thing, right? Like we don't have like framing hammers and shit like that.
and they don't have all like the
Like chipping
specific
hammers?
little tools that could make all these jobs maybe go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But to them, it's not necessary. They're not making
Yeah.
money off this
Correct.
shit, right? Like for example,
They're trying to save
you guys have the
themselves money.
tools to do doors, but you don't necessarily have the little framing thing like how me and your brother had to do the notches by
We
hand.
bought it.
There's a tool for that.
Yeah, we bought that tool and then we took it back because we didn't need it.
It's
We
almost
bought
like
the tool.
it's
There you go.
almost like
I'm
going-
saying like there's little
Yeah,
things
no,
like
yeah.
that you guys don't necessarily
So
need.
for
It's
example,
almost like having the experience to cook a meal at a restaurant and not having the equipment
All
at the
the
restaurant
spices.
to cook, but you still know how to cook.
yeah.
Exactly.
So for
It's
example,
still
you-
gonna take longer at home because you don't have fucking an industrial thing that'll cook it in 5 minutes. But
So to give you an
Yeah.
example, there's this thing, it's a pneumatic hammer, right? Like you load the nails in and then you go pop, 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 pop,
oh, yeah,
pop.
those things are cool. I've seen
Those
one in
things are
action.
super cool. Now instead of having that, we have what's called a handheld hammer. It connects to the machine. You put the hammer inside this like magnet, and then as you apply pressure, that thing starts moving and goes trrrt, and you drives the nail in, so you don't have to hammer by hand. So when you are doing framing, because we don't do that much framing, like if all we're doing is framing, then yeah, you need that because that's gonna make your job so much faster. But since you do a lot of framing, like buying a $150 tool versus a $20 tool, like makes no sense.
Well,
right?
he's also talking about when you're trying to put nails in like a
Like
very tight
angles
environment.
and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
because in reality, what are you going to use when you got to put nails for framing, like a big framing job? A nail gun.
Yeah, a
It's
nail
gonna
gun.
go ta, 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 ta,
Yep.
ta, really fast,
Mm-hmm.
really fast.
Or like another good example.
My dad
would
said
be-
that Ryobi set is actually about my age.
Yeah. Another good example is like they have a special drill. No, it's not a drill, it's a screwdriver, right? It's an electric screwdriver for drywall. And what it does, you add the bolt, add the screws to it, and then you go ring, 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 and it just kind of adds them as they go along, right? We don't have that, but we have special tips for the actual screwdriver, right? The drill, the electric
doesn't go
drill,
past it.
that as you drive the screw in, as it reaches a certain area, it just pops right off of the screw, so you don't overdrive it, right? So it depends what you're doing. If we're doing drywall all day long, then yeah, we would need those tools. But then if it comes to like doing drywall, when you're evening things out, we do have all those mud knives and things like that that go 3-4 feet long to even things out.
And in
That makes
reality,
the
even
job
if you're
easier.
doing drywall all day long, you don't really even need that tool.
You don't.
You could literally just do it with a drill and screws.
Yes, you
This is
can.
how I always did it.
Yeah.
Like working with Randy, we never had no special drywall shit for the screws. Just do that shit and
Yeah.
make sure you're not
This-
going too far.
My
you know?
mom wanted
Exactly.
to make
This you don't
some-
have to worry about it. It just goes ring,
Or for example, there's actually a tool for that for the doors.
Yes.
When you're putting, so let's say you're about to screw in the hinges on the door. So you put it in the notch and you go to screw them in. There's actually a special tool that is a drill bit, that you put before putting the screws, that has like a little coupling around it that centers itself in the holes of the hinges, and so make sure the hole is perfectly in the middle, and it has like a little stopper to where the thing only goes so deep,
So deep,
and all
yeah.
these things. Because like for example, when we were doing my door the other day, one of the screws when we were putting it in split the door, or when we were putting the screws in, one of them went in crooked. Like that little tool will prevent all those things.
Yeah, it
It'll
goes
make
in.
sure it goes right in the middle of the hole. It won't crack anything. Little things like that, or like for example, the drywall. You can even go a step further with that. You've seen those drywall rigs that they have like where you load the mud into like this little thing. You
Yeah,
load
yeah, and then just
you load
roll
the
it,
tape
yeah.
in there as well, and you just go across the
Yeah.
strip of drywall with it, and it puts the mud and the tape at the same time, and it even has a little blade at the end to cut it and to flatten it as you're going. You can always buy tools to make jobs easier. But you
It
can
just
easily
depends
spend
what you're doing,
You
you
can
know.
spend $2,000 or more on tools on a
$2,000,
basic little
shit.
job, or you could spend $200.
Yeah. I was gonna say $2,000. Shit, that's being cheap, man. I mean, like
No, I'm saying like a
solid
single
van,
job, a single thing.
Yeah, a solid van of a good contractor is probably close to 30
Oh,
to
the whole
40,000.
van? Yeah, no, I'm saying like
30,
a single set of
$40,000
tools
worth of
for
tools
one
inside.
kind of job. Like let's say you're installing a door or a window or doing tile, Like you could do it. For example, you could do like vinyl flooring with a hammer or like a rubber mallet and a knife and
Yeah.
a measuring tape. That's all you
That's
need.
all you need, yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, but it makes
But you
it-
want to make the job a little bit easier. You have a miter
Circuit,
saw to
yes.
cut a bunch at once. You have a square to make things a little bit easier going around corners. You don't have to measure everything exact by exact. You just measure it up like a drawing almost. You can add a bunch of tools to the tool set to make the job easier, but you don't necessarily 100%
yeah.
need them.
No, you don't. That's for sure. But yeah, so I think there was a pretty. What did they say? What was?
What were the
was more-
tools? What were the brands that they were suggesting?
So the brands that they are suggesting are
The DeWalt, Milwaukee,
That's the trio we
and
said.
or
Makita.
Makita, yeah.
That's literally the trio we said. I don't think you can go wrong when you're looking at those three tools. I will say that I would put Milwaukee and Makita above DeWalt.
Man, I would reconsider that. I would
put-
consider- 'cause
would
I've
put
worked with-
Milwaukee and Makita above DeWalt. As someone who's used all of it.
Makita, I don't have a Milwaukee. However, I've used it, but I don't have a Milwaukee. I do have a DeWalt and Makita, and they're performing really fucking well.
So I would say, like for example, basic thing, the drills, which I've used a
Yeah.
shit ton, and I've used all three of them a shit ton. I probably prefer the Makita. Makita was probably my favorite
I
out
can
of all
see
the
it.
drills
Makita,
used.
I do like
Most
Makita.
compact.
Yeah.
So we're getting into spaces, the batteries and everything. DeWalt will have DeWalt and Makita. No, sorry, DeWalt and Milwaukee. Their batteries last hella long.
Hell yeah, for fucking ever.
Yeah, they have some batteries that hold hella charge.
So all right, go to the next article. See what we got.
I have
there
a
next.
question for you guys
Go ahead.
before we go into the next article. What if the laws of physics changed every decade?
Every
Laws of
decade?
physics changed every decade.
Yeah, so
Could you give us an
which-
example of what kind of law you would change?
Like the laws of gravity, maybe things don't drop at the same speed as they did 3 decades ago.
Oh shit!
Everybody suddenly become a basketball player?
Not necessarily.
I mean,
I'm really just talking. Sure, but I'm mainly just talking about the gravity of things falling into the ground.
I don't know, man.
Like,
That would change
s-
everything.
Like slowly changing, just by decimals, just
'Cause
decimals.
that would change everything.
someone like
Literally, you would
Like,
have
everything that
buildings.
we thought was there, just
overnight, everybody would be catching shit just quickly.
If
you know what I mean?
catching shit, if the force of gravity increased by a marginal percent, you would have buildings toppling.
Yeah.
Because everything, all these architects and civil engineers, they understand the laws of physics and they abide by those laws. If those laws change, The whole entire shit is fucked.
So this is a true story, right? You can even measure it on yourself, especially if you're a taller person, right? When you wake up in the morning, you're a certain height. By the end of the day, you'll be shorter. Why? Because gravity drags and compacts your bones together, so you're actually shorter. You lose about an inch to 2 inches depending how tall you are, right? Now imagine if gravity got stronger. These people would have like straight up back problems. Everybody would walk around like me, fucking stocky, like built like core heavy to support the bone density, right? Like people would stop growing basically. That's what would happen with evolution of humans would change completely.
Yeah,
I
but
know
imagine
astronauts.
there are physics of laws that we have yet to discover that are still constantly
No, so
changing.
here's the
That's insane to think
I know
about.
astronauts have to maintain their bodies in certain ways while they're in space to prevent atrophy
Yeah.
to happen in their bodies, because under the force, without their bodies being under the force of gravity, there will be a lot of changes basically that'll happen in their body.
So here's the thing with physics, the theoretical physics, the one that we cannot put into like actual experiments, though that's why it's called theoretical physics, right? But we know that to be true. But the physics is true and chemistry is true no matter where in our entire universe you look, right? When they're looking through microscopes, they can tell by the way light is reflecting off things, the chemical formula of things are the same on different planets as they are on our planet, right? It's the same thing with gravity laws or physics laws and other planets as well. It all depends on the mass of the planet, the speed that it's spinning
I was just about to
around the
say,
sun or whatever
now
the sun
the
is
laws
spinning.
the laws of physics and time do change how fast you're moving through the universe.
Yes.
So to say, you could probably, the laws of physics, not to say that they would change if the Earth started moving at a different speed. It would have to move dramatically at a different speed.
Faster, yeah.
Yeah,
And
way,
it's
way
already
faster.
moving fast as shit. Like if you like, the Earth is moving around the sun extremely fast, except we don't notice it, right? Because it's just so big, right? But
Talking
but
about time and space, actually, you bring up watches here, and it just reminded me of something real quick. I just not bring up watches, but I saw there was a watch there.
so these are the
I saw what's it called? Hamilton has a page on their entire website that's dedicated to all the watches that were put into movies.
oh shit, that's cool.
So, like for example, they have the Hamilton khaki Murph. It's called Murph because of the movie Interstellar. His daughter Murph wears he gives her the watch in the movie, and I knew that they were pretty like known for that specific watch, and they even had the model that came after it, named after the movie and stuff. But now they have, like, you saw the Dune one. Remember the Dune Hamilton
Yeah.
Ventura that came out? Now they have this entire page where it's like 2 to 3 pages of watches long
That's awesome.
of just straight up watches that were
Oh,
featured in
yeah.
movies.
I'm
It's
gonna go
pretty
home
badass.
and look at it for sure because I want to see it. But I kind of like this new two-door watch that they made. Like if you scroll down just a little bit, it's a dual date, which means that each number changes on its own separately. So it's not 30 numbers, so it's two wheels basically, right?
Yeah.
And each wheel spins separately, as you can see in this golden one a little bit better. I really like the way it looks. I really like the idea of that dual date.
You know what I've noticed? A lot of people are copying companies like Longa and
Zona, yeah.
FP Shore and that are doing these big date wheels.
Mhm.
Big date wheels. I'm a big fan of it.
Yes.
You
I
know,
like
I've
it.
even seen companies like Timex adopting these big date windows. You know, I really like it. And this is another example. It's not maybe as big, but it's definitely not
Well,
as small as you used to seeing. on
Yeah,
this Tudor.
Rolex goes around it by putting that Cyclops eye on it, which I think is a 2.2 or 2.5 zoom on an actual date.
Not
So
a fan of Cyclopses.
it's I mean it's there for a reason, right? Like it was
To
done
make it
for the-
easier, right?
for-
It's
yeah,
definitely there for a reason,
Yeah.
and it works.
it works.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. It definitely works,
Mm-hmm.
especially like when you see watches that didn't have a Cyclops or did, and then now they're making them with or without. You can see
Yeah.
the difference. Like, okay, yeah, it definitely makes it more legible. You know, the
And
date of the
I've been
day
wearing
of
it
the
a little
month is
more.
We're used to.
I've been wearing it a little more, and I come to like it more than the one I have on my wrist more. The more I wear it, the more I like it. Like the weight of it, the size of it, the way it sits.
That happens to me with all my watches. The moment I make a decision to wear it one day, and say it's a watch I haven't been wearing for a long time, I wear it one day, and I'm like, man, I need to wear this more.
Yeah, yeah.
And you start
I start liking
falling
it a lot
for it,
more. Yeah.
you know.
I
So
start,
the Tudor you have on your hand doesn't have a Cyclops,
No.
but your Rolex does,
yes.
right? And so you're saying, do you prefer the Cyclops or no?
Yeah, I do prefer the Cyclops.
You do?
Yeah. I just prefer that watch now even more since I started wearing it more. It just feels more natural to wear it on your hand. It's not as heavy, it's not as bulky, it's not as big. I'm starting to appreciate smaller watches more and more. Where before I liked bigger watches, now as I wear the smaller watches, I'm starting to appreciate them more. But listen to me, I'm saying fucking small.
It's
It is
still
still a
40
big
millimeter. They're
fucking
still about
watch.
40. They're still about 40 millimeter.
Yeah.
It's just the Rolex wears smaller.
Yeah, it's a thinner profile
It,
as
it
well.
wears smaller on the wrist. Even though they're really about the same size watch.
Yeah.
You know, it just wears smaller.
Don't get me wrong. This is the everyday beater. Like I'm not afraid to take this on a like I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm not afraid to take this on a like a ATV. You know what I mean? That's how much conviction I have in this watch that this is gonna continue working for years to come, right?
So with the Rolex though, it's still
Yes, but
it also is
that one,
just
man,
as
I was
strong.
like, shit.
Yeah, but that's just because of your stipulations
Yes.
behind it.
Call me
Yeah.
broke,
But
but
they're
I'm not
just as
taking that
strong.
watch on no fucking ATV.
I think
I'm taking my $15 Casio.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean $15 Casio, that's like the ideal fucking watch. Like especially if you have one of those polymer plastic Casios, bro. I've been wearing that every time we've gone on any kind of ATVs, man. I love that watch. It's light, you don't feel it on your hand. It's responsive, it's there, it's got the lights on it. You can fucking bang it up against anything you want and you don't feel bad about it. You get a scratch on it, like hell yeah, I got another scratch. You know what I mean?
Like
Like
stripes.
yeah, yeah. It's
I don't
like,
know if
yeah,
it's
it
something
changes the
about-
belt stripes, you know.
I don't know if it's something about the workplace I was placed into because I was having to look at my watch a lot constantly for the date, specifically the date of the month, you know. I don't think I'll buy another watch that doesn't tell me the date.
Yeah, no, you gotta have a date, man. Date is important, especially like in
That might be
In a
one
world
of the
that
only
I'm in.
reasons why we even look at our watch. Not even the time. It's just
No,
the date.
I mean, it depends. You're actually, I like that point, Mickey, because you're absolutely right. But it all depends on your lifestyle.
yes,
For me, the thing is that I was swapping out perishable goods, right? So was going into stores and I had to constantly look at something. Okay, this expires. What's today? Today's the 19th. So if anything had a day close to the 20th, I was constantly looking, and sometimes I would forget that today was the 19th, and so I'd have to look again. Okay, today's the 19th. This expires on the 26th. Okay, no, it's still good. Leave it. And then like, oh, I'd find something else. This expires the 24th. Oh shit, what's today's date again? The 19th. Like I was always checking it specifically just for the date, not even looking at the time.
yeah.
You know, so it all depends.
But since I've been wearing a watch, what's been for the past good solid year and a half, 2 years, 3 years even, I find it. I don't remember last time I looked at my phone for the time, because I do look at my watch for the time.
I don't, you know, Jay, I will say it's interesting you say that because that's a habit that I fell out of, and now have fallen back into.
Yeah,
So, like we've talked about before, I started wearing watches in like 6th grade. You know, 11 years old, I had that chronograph fossil. I still have it to this day. My sister gave that to me. Actually, even before that, I had a little green resin Gap watch. It had like a nylon band on it. Like I've had a couple watches before that, and I wore those a lot. But I would wear the watch, and that leather chronograph I have never came off my wrist, and I got used to looking at it for the time. And around 6th grade is actually when I first got a smartphone. So used to that, never used to look at my phone. Then I fell out of wearing watches, got used to looking at my phone. When I started wearing a watch again, it was something I had to force myself to do again. I was so used to I would like do this, and I'm like, dumbass, you have a fucking watch on.
yeah,
Like that, I had to literally do that to myself.
Yeah.
And now I'll look at my watch. I don't look at my phone.
yeah. But I like having a watch in your hand. I feel naked now without it.
Do you think that more brands are going to keep adopting this big date windows?
So it's very market driven, right? Like I think as long as
Can you actually put that Tudor back on? I want to take a look at it again.
as long as it's in demand and people are actually liking it and talking about it and blogging about
Now,
it.
would you wear that one, the gold one that has the diamond bezel?
No, not the gold one, but I would wear this one.
Go down again, Mickey. I'd wear it. If the diamond bezel is like subtle enough where it's not like throwing you to the feminine side.
I don't like the bracelet. This is why I wouldn't wear it. I don't like the bracelet.
Okay.
Mhm. I like the shape of the watch. The color combo, I'm not sure, but that white one I would definitely wear. I think it's a pretty good. Like, you know, this is an unpopular idea. I would wear a Cellini. Like I would wear a Rolex Cellini as a dress up watch, right?
Yeah.
But I would also wear a tank. You know, like if I was up to me, I'd probably wear the tank before I wear the Cellini. And better yet, if I can get my hands on like an old school golden Patek Philippe, I would wear that.
So I think that
The ones that look like a bracelet, you know.
for yeah, anything like a cuff style.
Yeah.
I I agree with you, man. I think there's something about the square Art Deco look that's specifically like really good for the dress watch style, you know. And I have that square Citizen, and I use it kind of to dress up sometimes. Like if you see me not wearing a graphic tee, I would just wear like a plain shirt with some kind of either black or gray pants. I'll wear that. But I feel like it needs to. I need, if anything, if I wanted to wear it with like a suit or something, I need to put it on a leather strap.
Yeah, here's another unpopular idea. I would not spend
So-
hella money on my dress watch just because I'm never in those situations where I need to wear a dress watch as often. So the dress watch would be a nice one, but it wouldn't be an expensive
That's
one
why-
or something up there as a
That's why I have a
watchmaker.
love-hate relationship with the Tank and the Reverso.
Yeah.
Two watches that I absolutely love, especially the Reverso. Reverso is probably like top 10 watches. Like if I were to write a list, my top 10 favorite watches, Reverso would be on that list. But when the fuck are you gonna wear the Reverso?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're going out like this with the
can't put it
running,
on a
yeah, like
reverse,
you can't have a reverse. Like it just doesn't
No.
work.
Even on a bracelet, you still like even if,
It
you,
still doesn't work.
you put it on a bracelet, right? And most of their bracelets are like Milanese style, really fine, still look like Art Deco style bracelets
it's
that are
just not
very
gonna work.
dressy. You know, it's gonna be hard to dress down a Reverso. Not to say the tank not so much. The Tank, I've seen some people dress it down, and they like and you
the
kind of pull it off.
Tank's bracelet, like if you look up Tank's bracelet itself, Tank's bracelet is nothing crazy, right? So it Tank like Du Cartier, yeah, that's it.
There you go.
It's nothing crazy.
It's kind of like that.
yeah,
That middle one, and the fourth one. Those are the two styles you see them come in.
yeah.
a
So
lot.
the more often the fourth one to one more
Yes,
over.
more often the fourth one. Yes.
Yeah, more often. So that doesn't like that but it does, the watch doesn't look right to me with that bracelet. I've had it on my wrist with that bracelet. It just doesn't jive for me. Like the watch is too unique, too nice for it to be on that bracelet. You know, the bracelet kind of takes it away from the watch, you know, and I don't like that too much. So I think you should have it on leather.
What do you think? I noticed last week. Today we're definitely talking about watches, clearly. But last week we didn't get too much into watches. What do you think if I don't know, maybe not next episode, but pretty soon here we bring in our watch collection. We've never showed off our watch collection on
Yeah,
here.
we can do that. Yeah,
And I know Mickey's got a couple watches. You can bring them in too.
Yeah, we can do that.
We just gotta take a look at our stuff.
We
Man.
just
We've never
sit here
shown
with
our
it.
stuff. You
Yeah.
know, we've talked so much shit about
I
watches.
don't really got much.
Yeah,
You
we
got a
can do that.
couple, don't you?
Nah, not really.
You
I
have
got-
that
I got-
fossil, and then the
I got
you
my
said
Apple Watch.
your grandpa gave you one.
I got my Apple Watch, my Calvin Klein, and my Invicta.
Yeah, the Versace. No, there's a
I had
Versace.
a
ring.
fossil one, but it broke.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we could do that one day.
Yeah,
I
we
think it
can
would be
bring that
nice to
over.
bring in our little collection and just talk about that.
So guys, did you hear the whole thing with the Trump debacle this week?
No,
Bruh,
what did he do now?
he didn't do anything.
What are they coming after?
He
him?
didn't do anything out of the character, right? Like just
out of Trump
read,
behavior.
Read this, not this article. Go to CNN one. Read, read this.
Former
Trump suggests.
President Donald Trump.
No. Go back up. Trump suggests it's going to be a bloodbath if he loses the election. Go to the next. Go to the other article, and they'll come back to this. This article says egregious examples of the media spinning Trump's bloodbath comment as call for violence. He was talking about the car industry, and he was saying how if we allow foreign car makers bring cars in United States, it will be a bloodbath. Bro, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, they all jumped on it. You had people in CNN, like reporters in CNN, pretty much saying that he's calling for another insurrection. Straight up. And I was like, man, like this guy is definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? Like I get it. Everyone else gets it. But like, for fuck's sake, you know, like, why are you guys putting shit that's not there? Like, and then you clearly want to tell me that you're not trying to sway people's votes because of political views that you have or your channel has. Like, that just drives me nuts. Like, you're there to report the news and give everybody the news and let the people decide. You're not here to talk someone into voting one way or another way, right? Like, it's just like these dirty tactics that they employ for what fuck reason, I don't understand. Another thing is, what do you guys think? Biden's purse right now is $150 million
Purse.
for the election. Advertising money for the election.
Okay.
That's the largest it has ever been in an entire history of United States. $150 million. You think that's enough for him to win?
That's funny. Me and my dad were.
That boy
asked-
Trump's like pocket change.
my dad. I asked him the other day, about a month ago, actually. Like, man, I think we're. I was messing. I was like, cause he doesn't like Trump, and I was messing with him. Like, I think we're gonna get the orange man in office. He's like, no, man, they're not gonna let that happen. This and that and that. But then about a week ago, the same topic came up, and he goes, yeah, I think we might be fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone knows this. They even had this couple. It was this African American couple, and then wife and a husband, and they're like, "Who did you vote for in Trump versus Hillary elections?" Husband goes Trump, wife goes Hillary. Who did you vote for in a Trump versus Biden election? Husband goes Trump, wife goes Biden. He goes, "Who are you going to vote for this go around?" Both go Trump.
Yeah.
Like, even Democrats are hopping ship. You know what I mean? Like, they're understanding that, okay, we have two shitty choices. Just unfortunately, the other option that could have been maybe better has become shittier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think this is what's happening in
See, but this is the thing, ready? I don't think it's that it's become shittier. I think that they both have their stench of shit, and everyone's just picking which one they'd rather like which fragrance they'd prefer,
Yeah.
Because it's not really like they're both the same pile of shit. No, like one's monkey shit, one's elephant shit.
Yeah,
They
and
both
then-
stink differently in their own ways, and they're kind of just picking which stink they prefer.
And then what I've noticed, like the SJWs, the ones that go on Twitters and Facebook comments and Instagram comments, those are the ones like diehard Biden or diehard Trump fans. And no matter what, like, this person could come out there and commit a fucking, genocide, and they still would vote for them. Like, there are these zealots that are like, there's not a lot of them, but they scream the loudest, right? Like, these zealots, because majority of the United States, they're like, just leave us the fuck alone. We just want to earn money and fucking have our families, like, our bills paid and this and that. But majority of, like, they're making this such a big fucking deal, and
What I
I
thought was
don't like
hilarious?
it. It's not like, this is literally how Rome fell, back in the day.
The sad thing is I feel like a lot of people have switched in this last 4 years after
They
Biden
have.
was elected from Biden to Trump due to a lot of like the misinformation propaganda just behind Biden.
Well,
For example, remember when he first got elected, the fucking whole country was blaming him for the gas prices?
yeah.
Was he really the one to blame? No.
No, he's not the one to blame, but
So-
automatically, as the president, as the CEO of the company, you're going to get blamed for it. You are going to get blamed for it. And if you're not doing things quick enough, because
But-
you have to remember, people have zero patience. They want things done like this. Why? Because if you need a new TV, you go to Best Buy today and you got a new TV. So they're automatically thinking that way, that the gas prices are just like buying a new fucking TV.
But like I said, though, I feel like a lot of the people who have switched from Biden to Trump is due to a lot of misinformation and them believing that he's at fault for this or he's at fault for that when he's not the one at fault. You know what I mean?
Yes, I see what you're saying, but then another interesting thing to me is I think the main thing for this election is gonna be the border. It's not abortion, it's not women's rights, it's not COVID, it's not men's rights, it's none of that shit. It's going to be abortion. It's not the race anymore.
The
It's
border,
going to
not
be the
abortion.
border. The border, like, and both parties do agree at this point that we do have a crisis on the border, and we need better, something better. But the problem here is, it's not that they're not controlling the border, it's the rules that are in place to control the border. Like, simple little shits like this, where they're trying to approve a huge bill that got blocked because they're trying to send $20 billion for the border aid, but then majority 80% of that money or 70% of that money was going to Ukraine. Like like if you know you have a problem, then literally release an emergency bill specifically for the border. You don't have to bundle this shit up with something else. You fighting over this bundle, go ahead and fight over the bundle. But like whoever needed that money to go to Ukraine wanted to fucking sneak that shit in there by saying, oh, it's for the border. It's not really for the border, bro. Because if it was for the border, it would be like 80-20, right? So the problem, I don't understand it. I don't get it, you know? And we're all getting sucked into this like little babies. And we're eating this shit up with spoonfuls, you know? And I don't like it at all. Like they're supposed to serve us and we're ending up serving them. Like that's what I don't like at all. At all. So it is what it is. Let's see what's going to happen. Both situations are just as fucking dire. Either one.
You got any?
I just thought this was fucking interesting how they put that shit on there, the way the media spun that thing.
And
But
I don't understand. Like okay, we have been importing domestic foreign cars. I get that this is where the thing stemmed from. I was kind of I would like to hear why he thinks that this would be a bloodbath to allow all these companies to keep bringing their cars.
So
Because you're talking about their cars, man. It's not just the cars, bro. Like, like you start looking in this room, and tell me one American product in here.
So cars, United States car manufacturing has been the last greatest bastion of economic exports that we had in this country, and brings hella money in. Like everyone in the world knows the Ford Mustang. Everyone in the world knows the
Corvette.
Chevy, the Corvette. Now, if you start flooding the market with cheap Chinese cars, naturally what's going to happen, people are going to flock to it slowly, just like they did with Kia, just like they did with Hyundai, right? Which even further is going to drive American car manufacturing down. But the problem here is you got the lobbies of American car manufacturers that are still continuing to want to keep the business floating, and China is a direct competition, right, to United States car making, right? So
Car making?
well,
I don't think car making.
it's not the car making. Like
You don't
there's
see
the
any
whole thing.
Chinese cars driving around.
Is the whole thing with China being China, and then the TikTok, which TikTok is trying to be like the Congress is trying to vote to sell TikTok, like and things like that. So China is our enemy, and they don't want China to continue making money on us because we're trying to shift slowly. I don't know if you noticed, we're shifting slowly towards India, all our productions and things like that. And we're trying to stay away from China because China is in a direct competition with the United States with their BRICS, creating the competitors to
So
the
it's
next
just
World
basically
Bank.
talking about our import-export problem.
It's an import-export problem. We're already upside down on our import versus export.
Yes.
That's going to be another thing that's going to get imported, which is going to eat away at our exports, which means now our balance sheet is
Even
going
gets
to be
worse.
worse.
Right.
So the bottom line is there are a lot of benefits to it for us to continue keeping American car making versus bringing in the Chinese car making, but that's going to promote competition. And with competition, with everything competition, things become better, right? And we don't want that because if
The product.
yeah, the product
products
becomes
become
better,
better.
and we as humans win at the end. We as society, we as the citizens win, right? They don't want to do that because they understand they're gonna have to invest a lot more because Tesla's been producing cars for a decade plus right now, and they still cannot figure out the manufacturing. Like none of the car makers can figure out the manufacturing to mass produce electric cars. So that just tells you right there. Now, can you imagine you bringing in
mean,
another competitor?
I think that they definitely. The problem is it's a whole new style of manufacturing process. They're trying to still implement this on the the what's it called, the construction line. What is it called again? When they call it to line, like the first Model 1 Ford, it was the first car to be made on a
Production line.
Is it production line? Is that the word? I forgot. I thought it was something else. But I think the electric cars, because brands like, for example, Toyota with the Prius or Chevy with the Volt, like that, those cars have been around for a while now. I don't even think Chevy makes the Volt anymore. But you know what I mean? Like we've already implemented the electric car.
See, this
thing.
is exactly what I'm talking about. This is about zealots. Like anytime you listen to Trump, you got to take everything he says with a grain of salt. Now, nobody's saying that Trump is
Trump says if he doesn't win, there'll be a bloodbath, and that
correct, and he was referring to the car makers, just like grab him by you know what. He was referring about something completely different, and they made it sound completely different. They do the same shit to Biden. It's not a Trump issue. It's our United States media issue. It's not a one candidate issue or other candidate issue. It's the media misreporting and misinforming the citizens of United States. That's the issue that I have.
I think what he's saying though is that
Just-
it's no big leap just because of his prior.
It is a
stuff.
big leap. It is a big leap. 100% it's a big leap. He's not saying grab your arms and go, especially if he talks about the cars and then he says some dumb shit like that. Like, I'm agreeing it is the dumbest shit to say. No president, no candidate of a president should talk like that. Period. Like, you shouldn't talk like that. The reason Obama got elected because of how eloquently he put these sentences together. He was a spokesperson. He came out in front of it. You were not.
I don't think that's the reason, but
Well, that was primary reason. He was very like you were not ashamed when your president went to talk to other nations because he could put a sentence together. What the fuck is the orange man do? He doesn't know how to talk to people.
yeah. But just because he's like that doesn't mean we should accept it as is. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you say these things like, "Oh, when you hear Trump, you just know you have to take it Trump, but you have to take it with a grain of salt."
You do.
I feel like we shouldn't allow him to be like that.
Well, you shouldn't allow him to be like that. But the problem is that half of the country is saying it's okay for me. So what are you going to say? This is a democracy. If half of the country is saying I'm okay with that, then who am I to say that, no, he shouldn't be like, I can't say my opinion, but can I force somebody to, like, you can't. Half of the country is okay with that.
Sounds stupid to me.
It is stupid. And I agree with it. It's completely stupid, but half of the country wants it. What are you going to say? Like, half of the country loves popcorn. You're going to tell them not to eat popcorn? That's the dumbest shit ever.
Well, if it's shit and it's giving you cancer.
Yeah, so is McDonald's. Yeah, there's a McDonald's on every fucking corner.
Well, maybe
You
we
know what I
should
mean?
adopt things to try and make us better.
Yeah, maybe we should, but that's not how society works. We're going to do what we think is right for us, right? Like, people gonna do what and you'll end up being in your life on both sides of the aisle, where you're on a side where it's gonna be winning and you're on a side that's gonna be losing, and that's okay. That's part of fucking life.
Mickey,
But anyway,
you got any questions for us today, Mickey?
But anyway,
Let's move on from Trump.
We could do the tango.
We've been on politics for long
The
enough.
tango section here, real quick.
yeah,
shit
let's do the
tango?
tango section, the dumbass tango section.
All right. This one caught my eye.
How to decipher a man's communication styles? That's by looking at his pinky finger. Yeah, I thought this was kind of fucking
Okay.
interesting too.
Communication style by Pinky Finger.
So number 1, the length of his mercury finger.
Okay.
When it
Oh
comes to the
my
mercury
God.
finger length is important because it tells you how much information he needs from you. If this finger is shorter, he likely won't require much talking and prefers to draw his conclusions and ideas from what you're giving him. He may even be quieter, preferring to listen and only jump in when he has something to say. If it's longer, however, that means he'll likely be much more talkative. He's going to ask a lot of questions, need a lot of information, and search you for details because he's naturally more investigative. He'll need more information and explanation during discussions to avoid confusion.
So what do you compare it to? That's what I want to know. Like, like if his pinky is long or short, like how do you decide?
I don't know. Personally, I have shorter pinky,
But what are you comparing it
and
to?
I'm not really that talkative. So in that sense,
But what are you comparing it to? Like you have a shorter pinky.
I don't know,
Other
just
men?
an average size pinky.
I don't know. I think it's more of a proportionate thing where it's like they're looking at the.
For an average size pinky, I have a small pinky.
Yeah, but I think it's more like comparison to your fingers.
Other fingers?
To your other fingers.
Still
I think.
very short though.
I mean,
I think all of our pinkies fall really short of our of our other ones. That's why it's the pinky.
yeah.
Huh.
I don't know, man. This is
Another
where the
bullshit.
dumb tango comes in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we really gonna go through this article? Because this seems like
This is really just all about reading hands.
yeah, and how hands are
Alright,
gonna be is based on what the
we've
people
got
are.
options. This was kind of silly. Let's go
Yeah.
on to the next one. Dating advice for men that's so simple it's stupid.
Nah, this is too much to read. Go back. Let's look at those fucking pinkies. The
No,
pinkies
fuck
were
them.
good.
Nah,
Pinkies,
fuck
bro.
the pinkies.
All right, fuck them.
Well, there's shit tango for you, Mickey. You got any questions?
Fucking A, dude. They didn't even give me time to.
Even look for your questions.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. If you could have a mythical creature as a pet, what would it be? Like, would you have a Cerberus?
Mythical creature.
So do I have to train this thing, or is it already gonna like?
I
be
don't know. I
trained
feel
and-
like this. If you have a mythical creature, you're pretty much godlike. You're like Zeus at this point. So
I'd have a griffin lion.
a
griffin
griffin lion,
lion,
like
yeah.
a Harry Potter type thing, where you could just fly on that bitch.
I would have a lion that could fly, have the claws of an eagle and a beak of an eagle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not that. That's. I
I
mean,
don't
he
know.
looks like a
What's-
mythical creature, but not that.
What's better than a dragon, bro?
Griffin lion.
But that's not that big. It's gonna be the size of a lion. My dragon's gonna be the
Where are you
size of
gonna
a building.
fucking hide a dragon?
Who said I had to hide it?
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
where is he gonna be?
He could be guarding
I'll
the shit
fucking
somewhere.
on a big ass piece of land in Tennessee somewhere.
Bro, you can keep a griffin lion in your garage. You can live in a city, and you can have him in a
Bro,
closet.
I'll fly my dragon to the city if I need to.
Yeah, but dragons are like slow. They're not that fast.
What the fuck?
They're
When
slow,
they're
bro.
Flying?
They're slow. Dragons are slow, bro.
How fast are dragons, Mickey? You're gonna have to look this up.
What are we basing?
It's gonna have an answer. Google will have an answer.
How fast are dragons?
500 miles an hour.
Two-
Yeah, that's an average plane speed.
That's not
As it's
fast.
in the air.
That's fast, bro.
Yeah, but it says in the air. He's got to go up to 500 and then slow down to a 0 and
oh
then
my
land.
God, fuck all that.
Bro, as you could fucking land in at 500 miles an hour, your eyes will pop out of the
Bro,
sockets.
my
He has to
dragon-
slow down for you not to fucking
My
die.
dragon has integrated ventilation systems.
Put a little dome on top
and
of
a
him. So I
windshield
don't,
in the front, so the raindrops don't hit my face.
And my shit will squash your griffin lion. Squash it.
First of all, my griffin lion is going to be light like a butterfly and sting like a fucking bee.
Don't matter.
It will be doing circles around your dragon.
I don't know, man. Y'all can't fuck with my Cerberus.
What do you want?
What do you
The
want?
three-headed Cerberus.
What's a three-headed server?
The Hades dog that guards the underworld.
Bro, your shit can't even fly, bro. We'd be attacking from the back, from the
I
sky. My shit would fly
Don't
in, go
get close,
"Caw-caw," chop, chop,
Don't
chop.
get
You know,
I
and
don't even have to get close. I can just fucking blow
blow
fireballs.
fire. Yeah.
Wow.
First, at least mine stands a chance because if he blows the fire, I'm gonna duck like a F-16. You know,
fuck all that.
oh, like quick turns. You know, like bam, bam.
But what
90-degree
damage would
turns.
you ever be able to do to me? None.
Bruh?
None.
You ever had a griffin lion try to pick a dragon's eyes out?
It's not gonna happen.
Bruh, you
It's
kidding
not gonna
me?
happen. He's gonna
Look at those claws,
He's
bro.
gonna be fried griffin lion.
You ever seen two eagles lock in with those talons and
So
go
it's
into
called
a
a griffin,
spiral
by the
of
way. It's not a
death?
griffin lion. I don't
No,
know.
but
why.
he wants a griffin lion. That's what he's saying.
But
Yeah,
that
bro,
is-
that's what I
a
want.
griffin.
Yeah, but
It's
he
a
wants a
lion.
griffin lion.
That's exactly what that is.
No,
a
I want the
griffin.
head to be more like lionesque and just a beak instead of teeth.
He
It would
wants
just
an
have these
eagle with a
gigantic
mane.
beaks.
He wants
Bro.
an eagle with a mane.
Bro, look at it this way. BJ, the bird, my brother's bird, he can crack like shells of almonds and like Brazil nuts like no problem. You imagine that beak that's this big? What can he crack? Dragon skull would not stand a chance and be chopped in half.
Bro, the dragon's the size of a house.
Yeah, the size of the house, chunks will come out of it.
Yeah, okay.
If
gonna get squashed.
tomorrow they were to
All right, Khaleesi.
if
That's exactly what's gonna
tomorrow
happen.
they were
Fucking
to
burn.
prohibit music and you wouldn't be able to listen to music at
Oh,
all, would you rebel?
I wouldn't lose. I don't have any hair on my head, but I wouldn't lose any more.
Bro, that'd be stressful for me.
It wouldn't be. I just listen to podcasts all day long, bro.
That'd be hella stressful for me because
Mm-mm.
you know, I was actually listening today to Joe Rogan talk with Mexican OT. You know who that is, Miggy? He had a podcast with him actually, and Joe Rogan was describing how he feels like music can almost give you like a drug-like feeling, right? And I relate to that. I definitely relate to that with certain music. For example, songs that like are from my childhood or things that I listened to for a very long time. Like for example, right now, I don't really get into new music. I've gotten to a point right now where I don't look for anything new.
Does
I kind of
music-
just
does
go through
music
cycles
ever-
of my old shit.
Does music ever incite any emotion?
100%.
I mean, if
100%.
you had moped heads, like you got these new singers that look like straight up moped heads, bro. Like they just don't even look presentable. To
Yeah,
me
I don't
out
really
there.
look for new music. Like right now, right now my if you go into my recents, it consists of James Brown, Kid Cudi, and Kanye West, but not like Kid Cudi and Kanye West from like the last 2 years, like from when I was in high school. Music for sure is like that. And he was saying one of these things, like he said, I have no musical like bone in my body, and that's another thing that makes him admire it so much. And I'm kind of similar in the sense where I did play a couple instruments growing up, but I not really like a
I was
musical
never
genius.
able
You know,
to
I definitely
develop.
learned to play, but
Yeah, I was never able to develop that sense to make things sound good in an instrument.
I don't know what it is, man, but I admire like weird shit. Like for example, right now I'm playing fucking James Brown. No one my age is fucking listening to James Brown.
James Brown is cool.
No one my age is listening to James
I
Brown
may
at
have
all.
listened to some of his songs
So there's a
unknowingly, but I do listen
Bro,
to some older stuff. Like I'll put on some Frank Sinatra while I'm at work working, just chilling.
But so there's this thing they're saying that back in the days we kind of learn how to talk, like language didn't come around at first. There were sounds that we would make, so that's
If
where
you
the
could have a
music.
language, what would it sound like?
If I could have a language, what would it sound like? I prefer English because I think English it would just sound exactly like English.
Humming.
English is very complex, though, man.
Yeah, but this is the most like this is the language that you can communicate with the rest of the world. Like that's the proverbial Babylon's tower. You know how the god destroyed Babylon's tower because everybody wanted to reach him, and then he basically like knocks everybody down, and everybody starts speaking different languages. That's how languages came around. That's the biblical explanation of languages coming around. But whole thing is, English is the reason the world can communicate with each other. So why wouldn't I would not want to know English? You know.
Okay, so you would kind of stick to something similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humming.
Humming.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
How would you hum your way through though? Like, I mean,
Just figure it out.
huh?
African, they do that
Over
like,
there.
They figure it out.
Yeah,
they
they-
different.
They
different
figure it
clicks,
out and they
basically.
communicate with each other. I'm sure you could do it in some way with humming.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think.
Yeah, you do look like Ken Block. Holy shit!
What's your?
R.I.P. Ken Block.
Threw me off.
Cuban Ken Block.
Yeah, he looks like Ken Block, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, I know,
Listen,
right?
Either
Man
you're
can
gonna
barely
sit
drive.
in or then.
That sticks. I have threes here. Okay.
You trying to get hot?
Yeah, he wants a
Imagine
real
your,
jump.
imagine your name being hummed. What's your name?
Oh, those are mine that I've been leaving. That I left there.
So here's another thing. So remember how we were talking about Elon Musk and you said, well, he said that the jobs are going to be obsolete, so blah blah blah. So I dug into it, and this was a summit in UK where most people, like 25 different countries, got together, and he was talking to the audience basically, and he was saying that in the future, not now, in the future, AI will outpace people where you're not gonna need people anymore, and
I think the
AI is gonna
future's
be
now.
no, it's not. It just it's not. So what he was also saying that there's gonna be a higher universal income, which as a human you will have a choice to work if you want to, but you're not gonna have to because you're gonna be getting paid for it, right? Now I don't know how
There's
a dystopian future would work.
There's a level of opportunity that technology creates, or not even technology. Well, sure, technology over time creates opportunity.
Yeah, so by then, I think we all will be AI-ified, meaning we will have AI aids to us, whether it's going to be like a form of headphones or some people are going to have it in their brain, right? So you yourself are going to become part of the system, I think. And just to look at it as the future being gloom, I don't think that's the case. Yes, AI destroyed, I think 35, like 80 or 35 million jobs or something like that are in jeopardy because of AI, but it also created 12 million, right? Like, so it did destroy, whole scheme of things. It's changing. So now people that like heavily rely on human force, that own companies that rely heavily on human force, they're gonna have to rethink their strategies and go the better route. But I don't think AI is going to make our jobs obsolete, because you have to think about it. Until they come up with robots that can go in and fix your car, until they come up with the robots that are going to fix the pipes in your house and do the construction and do this, we have leaps and bounds. Like China was just able to put a robot together that ran the fastest, like it won the robot Olympics per se. It ran super fast. Now they're like saying it's race against the time. So they are getting better, but they're not there, and they're not going to be there for a very long time.
I don't believe that.
I don't think so. I don't
believe anything you're saying, Jay. I really don't. After witnessing that video of the AI doing what it did, how are you gonna tell me AI is not there to go and fix someone's car? It is. The AI can.
It's not.
Implement. Yeah, it is. Listen.
It's not, because it's gonna cost hella
Okay,
money.
let me talk.
It's like having F-16s. We have F-16s. You know what I mean? You don't learn how to fly F-16s. You fly those fucking 80s planes.
Dude, they put shit in the front of on the table in front
Yeah.
of the AI robot
Yes.
and asked it, "Do this. What is that? What's edible? Where would this go if you were to basically organize this table? Where would this go? Oh, it would go over here." The thing can learn and understand and applicate that knowledge. So
No.
what's to say that it can't go under a car and okay, do an oil change? It can.
So
What's to say it can't?
so the best thing I can come up with is like the cars versus horses, right? Right. Back in the day, people like rode horses. Now everybody rides cars, right? You still have societies that still use the horses within United States and predominantly Amish societies, right?
This is you're talking about almost nobody.
Oh, almost nobody. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, since dawn of the cars, making cars brought more jobs. See what I mean? Like now you need people that are working in manufacturing, producing these
You-
cars, people that need to fix these cars, people that need to wash these cars. You know what I mean? People that need to insure these cars. And then another thing is,
Corporations are going to take any advantage they get. They don't give a fuck about jobs.
I understand that, but at the same time, these robots are not gonna be cheap. They're gonna cost money.
Yeah.
So for that adoption to happen, like it's gonna take some time. It's same thing happened with cars. It took some time. That adoption did not become prominent. And even if you look over the world, all over the world, we live in United States, and yes, majority of people have cars here, but all over the world, people don't have cars like that. What I'm trying to say, it's gonna cost money. Not everybody has this money to adopt AI. Now, in another 200 to 400 years, will that happen? Yes, but immediately for our generation, our children's generation, I don't think so.
100%.
It's not. It's not gonna. It's just not gonna happen.
You haven't given me a solid problem. You're saying it's too expensive. I
Yes.
get it's expensive. It's going to go down in price. People are
It
going to
won't.
start adopting it. The more the demand meets it, they're going to make it reasonably priced, bro.
It won't. Just like with computers.
What about computers?
Cause not everybody has a computer. They yet didn't phase people out.
Yeah, but computers can't fix a car. AI can.
No, I understand that, but the whole idea is this is going to cost a lot of money. It's like having an entire Amazon's database on one robot. Like they either have to be connected to the cloud, that cloud is going to manage them where they're going to get their information from, or they're going to have those terabytes of data within their hard drive per se, right? Like to do these jobs. AI is it's many years behind.
I don't think it's that far. As far as you think. Like hundreds of years? No.
Hundreds of years, bro. I'm
No way.
telling you. I'm telling you. By that time, we're gonna be half cyborg anyway. So he's not even gonna matter.
I don't see it being that far at all. There's
Maybe
no
not
real-
Even, maybe not even half cyborg. Perhaps maybe just a completely different animal through genetic mutation.
No,
Shit,
that's
that's
gonna be difficult because if you look at it in a human history, like you can clearly trace like our last evolutionary change was with the creation of farming. That was our last evolutionary change. That a lot of things have changed where we could start mass producing food. We haven't had any evolutionary changes since then, unless there's some sort of a bomb that's gonna mutate a bunch of people and something else gonna come out of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't see how that's gonna.
Bomb
We've been the same
mutates.
for thousands of years. You know what I mean? So 300-400 years are not gonna change us evolutionarily.
You have some kind of super villain that changes mankind.
Yeah, like unless like aliens come down and say, "Hey, listen, I got this little bush light vaccine for you." You know what I mean? Once you take it, you're gonna become XYZ, more intelligent, this and that. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
That reminds me of the lizard in Spider-Man. You guys watched the Amazing Spider-Man, the one with Andrew Garfield, where he's like basically trying to make the entire world into lizard people.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless something like that happens, like it's just there's just too much money on a line for them to risk it, right? Like there's a reason why Rothschild's been in business for many years.
What else you got for us, Miggy?
Well, see that he's saying we're gonna have a lot of AI updates to the military. Now that's true, but we already had them for many years. I spoke to a guy that worked with military. He didn't give too much information, but from what I could tell, what he was talking about we've been working on AI for years now. This AI that leaked to us is actually leaked from a military AI to us itself. So we've been dealing with AI for many years now. It's just we didn't know about it.
I know.
really.
In if you look at, for example, Nvidia, they're behind like the pioneering of making the chips
Yes.
that power these AIs, and I mean,
And the
they're
BYD Chinese company just signed a contract with them to produce their chips for their electric cars.
I actually saw a video today of the guy, one of like the heads of Nvidia, doing a keynote on the one of the new chips they came out with.
Yeah. So, I mean, is AI the next progression in technology? 100%. Just like we had computers, then became laptops, then we became personal computers, handheld. Now we have our watches. The next thing is the rings, glasses. You know what I mean? The AI is the next progression to that. It's just gonna make things much faster to progress, but I don't.
Have you
don't
guys
see
ever visited like a military base or like a military installation per se?
No, but we used to live in Lithuania. We used to live in an old, so the area that we lived in used to belong to the Red Army, the Soviet Red Army, and that's where they housed all the military personnel back in the day. So in those areas we lived in, sometimes we would run around through the forest and stuff, we'll find like empty shells or like the holes, like still old.
Grenades, landmines, you know
No,
the usual
no,
stuff.
none of that. The empty,
Man was playing Tarkov.
yeah, the empty shells, and then sometimes you would find like the boarded up or like welded doors for the entrances to underground, whatever.
I don't know if this would count for me, but we used to take a horse to the next town over, to this place called Isabel Rubio, and we would go on a horse carriage through a military field, which used to be an airport, military air
strip.
yeah. But yeah, it was all fucked up. Like everything was degraded. The concrete was broken. Shit was going through it. It was kind of cool though, like going through there. There was still like some military tanks as well that were parked that were all like decomposed and everything.
My Russian's getting a little extensive. Well, not Russian, because I guess all the words I know aren't all just Russian, but it's getting pretty extensive, you know.
With Tarkov, yeah. So
No,
so,
it's with you guys, like, so. What
well,
can I remember?
last trip I went to Latvia, my buddy he ordered fireworks for his wedding, right? And we're on our way back to the main city, Riga, from where we were. It was about 100 kilometers away from that little castle where they had the wedding. So when we were going back, the guys that were doing the fireworks, their business was in one of those old school Russian military hangars where they used to keep the fighter jets, right? So now they converted that into a like working space for hangars to keep shit in it. So that was kind of cool. Driving, just like you said, there's just like degraded roads and fucking shit overgrowing, and they had a fucking field of wheat that was growing next to the fucking military installations. You know,
they
but
just don't give a fuck about that anymore.
nah. So what about your Russian getting better?
Oh, I feel like I'm actually like remembering this stuff now. I don't have to ask you guys to like brush up on all this stuff.
Yeah.
You say 3, 2, 1, Pasitraukis, Nusi Ramink.
Yeah.
What else?
So you just went from Russian to Lithuanian.
Like,
you just committed.
I don't know. I don't
the
know. I don't know what's
sin.
what. The funny part is what Nusi Ramink is Russian, right?
No, that's Lithuanian.
That's Lithuanian.
Yeah,
as
the
well
only things Russians you said was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Davai is
Russian.
Russian. I know. I guess the other stuff is Lithuanian.
Yeah.
Both Nusi Ramink and Pasitrauk are both are
Jay,
Lithuanian.
how did you go about learning other languages?
Submersion,
did you start with the grammar?
No, well, no. So in my opinion, this is just me. In my opinion, you learn the language, but it's like submersing yourself in it.
How would you go about learning Japanese for you?
I lived in Lithuania for 2 years, and I didn't speak lick of Lithuanian. Then we moved, and the closest school was Lithuanian school. They literally took my brother and I, took us directly to a Lithuanian school without understanding shit in Lithuanian. In 3 months, we were fluent. So that's literally you going to Japan right now and immersing yourself in a culture. Within 3 to 6 months, you'll know how to talk.
You have experience with learning different languages and having different vocabularies.
Yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part
Thinking
about
in
learning
the
the
language.
new language? Do you think it's the vocabulary?
Thinking in the language. No, thinking in that language. The minute you start thinking in that language, that's when you know how to talk. Because in the beginning you're translating, then slowly it becomes normal. translating
funny you say
becomes
that.
normal, and then you start thinking in a language. So when I'm talking to you, I'm thinking in English. When I'm talking to my mom, I'm thinking in Armenian. When I'm talking to my Russian friends, I'm thinking in Russian. Lithuanian friends, I'm thinking in Lithuanian. My Spanish friends, I'm thinking in Spanish. So that's what makes you understand the language and become fluent in it.
That's funny because that didn't happen to me talking in Spanish until I was older. Like as an adult, basically.
Like some things that
And I
click.
bet you at that time, that's when you started hanging out more,
Yeah,
a lot more with
in
Hispanic speaking
in
people.
high school is when I got into hanging out with a lot of Hispanics.
Yeah, that made you, like, literally just immersing yourself in a culture. You want to learn a language? Go live in another country for 6 months to a year, bro. You're gonna come back speaking. You're gonna come back speaking. I don't care what
So
language.
we're
it is.
going to Japan,
I
Mickey?
think Japanese is a little difficult language for me to understand because of kanji and the way their vocabulary is set.
Forget it.
Yeah,
You
the
always,
characters basically.
yeah. Since you didn't grow up in Japan, you're always gonna have a fucking strong accent. They're gonna call you gaijin. You know, no matter what, they're gonna call you that. But you're gonna have a strong accent, but yet you're gonna talk the language, right? So number one thing I think the people are fail is when they're like, well, I have this accent and I'm not saying the words properly, so I
Have
don't
you
want to
guys-
talk. Like, no, like get over that shit and talk.
Have you guys seen that one dude that goes to like the different restaurants and he starts talking
Chinese
in
guy?
English, like the first few sentences,
And then
he
Cantonese
just
and
starts spitting out like Mandarin, Cantonese,
Yeah.
speaking all these different languages, Japanese,
Yeah,
Korean.
I think I've spent at least 4 hours one time because I came across one of his videos and I just started binge watching his shit.
all his different
Just
videos
because it was so interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
No-
I like to see their reactions. It's so cool. Like when someone does that, you can tell a lot of their reactions is appreciative.
Yeah.
Almost because you basically this person has now taken the time and effort to basically learn a piece of your culture, straight up.
Yeah, so that guy I think is naturally a little more intelligent than an average. You know what I mean?
He spits it out like
Yeah, I think
not
he's
effortlessly,
naturally
but because you can tell he repeats a lot of the words
Yeah.
when he's saying them, but it's because he's trying to like double check himself. But
Yeah,
man,
he's
he's gotta
naturally
have a
more-
brain.
and I can tell you this, bro. When I was last in Colombia and I was speaking Spanish and I would say things like "ah no me joda" and things like that, which is like not necessarily good words, right? But when you say those things, it comes off like they start laughing. It's like this motherfucking foreigner cursing like us. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah. So people appreciate that shit, bro. Like when you make an effort to talk the language, their language, people fucking appreciate it. People love that shit, man. They'll start
It all
helping you.
depends.
You know,
It makes it easier. It's funny because we went on the
it's a novelty.
we went on
you know?
a shoot the other day and the whole entire trip we were speaking English, and at least I knew that both the guys only primarily focus on Spanish, and the whole entire trip we spoke English, and at the end I was like, "De qué país son?" in Spanish, and they were like, "So you're making us go through all this fucking trouble, and you could have just spoken Spanish to us."
Have you ever done that as someone who's like bilingual? Like you see in the situation where someone needs help speaking English or Spanish, and you're like, but I don't feel like going through that.
Oh, yeah, sometimes it has happened.
But I've done what Miggy's done, and I can clearly tell people speak like Lithuanian or Russian, still speak English. to them. I've done that shit.
It's almost just to see if you catch them saying some dumb shit, just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it's like you know how people usually say something in their own language, and I always wanted to catch someone too, but man, never.
never
People
caught-
people are usually normal, you know. They don't take
Actually,
shit.
no, I have. I've caught in somebody saying some shit in Spanish and being like, "Yo, dumb fuck, I know what you're saying." You're like, I remember I said it to them in Spanish back. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember who this is, but I do remember that happening. Actually,
During the happy
before.
hundred.
I know
Yeah,
that
you speak Spanish?
I usually wait for somebody to speak Spanish and then I'll say something slick just to let them know that hey, I know.
The best one is like if you're speaking English and you don't let them know in the moment, they just keep talking shit, and then at the very end you're just like, "Oh, pasa buen dia,"
Yeah.
like you walk away. You don't even have to look at them. You know that they're instantly like, "Oh shit, that motherfucker knew everything."
Everything we say. Yeah. That's the best one, you know. But I like talking different languages. I think you know. But again, as I said, with English and globalization, the way it's happening right now. I was talking to Valentina, my teacher from Colombia, and she lives in Copacabana, which is a little city outside of Medellin. And her cousin came over, and they're like, "Okay, so where do you want to get some food? You know, blah blah blah." And they're like, "We'll just order pizza." But they got a pizza. I even went on a menu to see the sizes of their pizza. So she ended up paying 65,000 Colombian pesos, which translates to about $15 for about a 30 centimeter, which is about like 14-inch pizza. They pay $15 for a 14-inch medium pizza. Where here, our largest pizza at 45 centimeters or at about 16 to 18 inches is about $22. You know what I mean? Like, even their pizza right now there in Colombia is like more money than our pizza here, right? I also understand the cultural differences where people don't order as much pizza over there, maybe, and that's more of a novelty to them than it is for us.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something
But the
there.
point is that last time I was in Colombia, I could clearly tell all the prices were at minimum 30 to 40% more than from the time before, which means like the Colombia used to be this very well kept secret, no longer. Like their prices are closer to ours now, and it is still cheaper. Don't get me wrong, you're still getting a hell of a discount when you go there for anything. But the only thing with globalization and more people, you're gonna start noticing that more people are gonna start speaking English because there's a lot of expat money that's coming to Colombia itself. Costa Rica is already straight up expatriated. Like their prices are almost identical.
I think Colombia,
Panama,
from when I went, that's probably the Latin American country that I've been to that has the most English speaking people. That were
outside of like the service industry.
Yeah, not necessarily people like because we just see a lot of tourists there that were American or whatever, but people that were South American, maybe not necessarily Colombian, but South American, lived there and they knew how to speak English. I was pretty surprised by that actually, because it caught me off guard, because when I've been to countries like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is one of those where a lot of them speak English, but Dominican Republic and things like this where, man, it's hard to find someone that speaks English. It's not the easiest thing.
A question for you guys.
I was surprised with Lithuania with that too, where in Lithuania, because of the influx of a lot of Ukrainians and Russians to Lithuania, not only are there pretty much all of them speak English, Lithuanian, they also speak Russian very well as well. And it's just part of the, like, it's very hard to find somebody that doesn't speak English or Russian. Everybody's bilingual at the very least, right? Some of the older people know, but majority of people in a city, like, you can't find anyone that doesn't speak either or languages.
What is it my mom saying? I went to the doctor's office and a lady was mad and complaining and told the girl of the office, "Esta vieja se está quejando, ayúdala." Y la señora, and basically the woman said to her that she doesn't need to talk for her, that she speaks Spanish. I don't understand the situation completely.
Yeah. No, so I don't know about the Eurasian countries, but yes, a lot of the schools, like when I was in school, we had a choice of German at 5th grade, and then in 7th grade we had a choice of Russian or English. The class chose English, so we were raised bilingual. But now again, this is just this kind of like Spanish in United States schools, where you don't use it and you lose it type of deal unless you use it. But over there now they're using it a lot more because of the globalization, and English has been always, somehow it became the language of the world.
That reminds me, Miggy, you might remember her. I don't remember her name, but there was this white girl that was in our like AP Latin classes that we have, like AP Spanish classes. White girl that made that badass tres leche at the end. You remember what I'm talking about? And she actually learned to speak.
She
pretty
was the
decent.
one that I could technically say that was actually my first job.
Oh, she worked there?
No, so if we're talking about the same girl, the white girl in that class, she was looking for somebody to translate for her company, and she worked at this insurance company, I believe. And I went in one day, and I did nothing the whole day but just sit there and watch World of Warcraft on the side while I just waited for a phone call that I never got. And I was supposed to translate, and I just made quick $100 that day.
And you never did nothing?
I didn't do anything.
Quise decir que le dije a la empleada que la ayudara. Yeah, me dijo que no la ayuda.
I don't know.
Que
We'll have to
ella
ask her
habla
afterwards.
español.
But yeah, that girl, I remember, like, because, with Kingsman's class, we had to do a little presentations where you had to actually speak in front of the whole class and kind of write this whole paper and all this crap. And I remember sitting there going like, damn, like the girl, like you could tell she's trying, and she was actually
trying very hard.
Yeah, she tried they were definitely talking about the same girl, because this girl tried very hard, and I give her props. She like got to a point where
she had
she's
like
speaking.
She had like a little mole.
I don't know. Maybe. White girl blonde,
White
but
girl
there was a
blonde,
whole
I
lot
think
of
she had
those.
blue eyes.
There was a whole lot of
not
blonde,
not an
blonde
AP
white girls.
Spanish,
that
not an
said
AP Spanish though.
That's true. Not an AP Spanish, but and I remember she made like actually good tres leche at the end of the year. When we all brought in something,
Yeah.
she made some really good tres leche. Surprised. Very surprised.
Would you guys ever consider after you get your shit set up in the United States and you feel like you have enough money? Would you guys ever consider getting residency in a different
Yes.
country?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah,
I've thought about it. I thought about it like a couple different
I've looked
places.
at castles in Europe. I'm not gonna lie.
Castles in Europe. Okay.
I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
I've thought about maybe like more tropical stuff. Now even with the surge of Cuban uprisings again with the protests.
Bro, I was just read an article. They're saying that Cuba is pretty much on. They said Cuba is on pretty much on brink of, like economic collapse. I'm like, Cuba is on brink of economic. What, you trying to
It's
tell me that we're
been-
not in an economic
Yeah.
collapse? Like, what are you saying
What's
here?
the
you
news
know?
here?
Yeah,
What is
what,
new?
what are you trying to say? You just like putting words together to create a freaking article. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
But,
Apparently, they broke out in the streets again, protesting that they're hungry and that they want out of the dictatorship. And some people have had the balls. I've seen this video of a guy, basically in front of the police, just letting him know how he feels. And
Yeah.
the dude had some nuts to be able to do that.
Well,
See,
see,
I'll be there in 6 weeks, so I'll let you know how it is.
yeah. So
Cuba?
I was gonna say I saw a bunch of
No
pictures.
way.
Mickey said, "Yo, you going to my homeland?"
No, don't go, nigga. That's just tough right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
That's
going.
just gonna be
I
rough.
no, I saw people like people that on my Instagram. They just posted pictures from Cuba, so it's not bad.
Well, I'm gonna be.
It's not bad.
I'm not gonna be in no touristy area. You know, I'm gonna be.
He's gonna be in the slums.
We're like staying at her aunt's house. You know.
Yeah, these are
going
Cuban,
to a quinceañera.
these are Cuban people that are like see. Here's the thing: for Cuba to come out of that situation, they need to align themselves with the United States, and that communist like grip on Cuba has been there for years and years and years. And this is generations of people that have been under communist thumb. It's going to be a very, very, very difficult way. The only way I can see Cuba coming out of that shit if Cuba pretty much comes in and says we want to be just like Puerto Rico.
You know.
That's the
Cu-
only way.
Cuba, at least this is kind of how it felt in my classroom. When we were learning about history, you know, we learned about what happened with Cuba with the Cold War and how Cuba basically at the end of everything after getting free, they said Uno reverse on on America.
Yeah, they did.
And that was like the first time in that history classroom that it set in like, damn, we helped these motherfuckers to get out of this, and then they just said, fuck you. And it kind of set in the classroom that the
They chose the wrong
the
side.
countries and they don't always do what makes sense,
No, yeah.
you know.
And there was that hope that things would get better. And a lot of the Cuban people, they're always like, it's gonna get better. But it just recently in recent times it's just been like it's not getting any better. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
So it's the same
Yeah.
thing with Venezuela, right? Like Venezuela doesn't have much. It's pretty much in ruins. But then I was listening to these interviews. This lady's doing interviews on the streets, and she's talking to people. Like, yeah, there are people that are like with college educated, whatever, working minimum wage jobs. You know what I mean? And it's the situation is not good whatsoever. But it is not what it is being portrayed like, unless you have someone that lives there and is gonna give you like unbiased opinion to what's going on. Because my mom will talk to people that live in Armenia, and some of them will give like, depending of their socioeconomic status, they'll give her like, oh my god, everything is collapsing, everybody's pretty much dying. And then you'll talk to the other ones, yeah, we're doing okay, you know, this and that, the situation is not the greatest,
perception.
but like it's all perception, bro. It's all who you talking to. People that haves always have money, and not haves never have money. Like, it's just any country. It's the same shit over and over again. Like, you can compare them to United States, but overall, I think...
I will say I'm very happy that we're going with Emily's parents at the same time, because like, for example, Emily was telling me like that the family there is very like not holds to a higher standard, but like
regarded higher...
yeah, they regard very highly to Emily's parents, and so when they get there, they like to treat them with a lot of food.
I got a question.
And I know that at the same time that Emily's mom and her dad, they kind of, I feel like there's like this thing that happens to immigrants when they come from countries like ours,
Yeah.
that when they get here, they like want to instantly live at the higher standard, and even when they go back to their country, they kind of want to not go back all the way down to the standard that they were living before. And there's nothing really wrong with that. It's kind of something they just adapt to, right? And so I know Emily's mom is very like picky with where we're gonna stay and how things are gonna be, and
You should know.
which is good. I'm happy.
Let
like,
me ask you this: are you taking any jewelry with you over there?
Casios, baby.
Just Casios?
Yeah, I mean maybe like my old watches, like for example,
Because I know Emily's dad has a little gold chain on his arm. You know, are they taking that stuff with them?
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be doing nothing stupid, but at the same time, flying into third world countries, it's probably not the best to bring a lot of
Jewelry, yeah.
with you. I mean, I'll probably, if anything, everything I'm bringing with me, I'll make sure it's in my backpack on me personally or whatever. But I probably won't bring even like my Seiko or anything like that. You know, the
Yeah.
watch I showed you today that I put on the leather strap?
Yeah.
I'll probably take that, to wear at the wedding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or not the wedding, but it's a quinceañera that
Quinceañera.
we're going for.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I were going to Colombia, I would not take any of my nice watches.
From my recent,
or my chain or
well,
any
not
of
my
shit.
recent, but from my trips to Cuba, people don't like they enjoy seeing the jewelry per se in a way, but they wouldn't go out of their way to rob you. I don't.
For the jewelry?
Yeah.
No, I don't think in Cuba, like no matter the situation,
I think DR is worse.
Yeah, DR, Colombia, I think
will
is worse.
say, if you carelessly leave the jewelry somewhere,
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gonna gonna
gone.
disappear. That shit will disappear.
Yeah, but I never thought of Cubans as like sticking you up and like things like that happen.
Dominicans
But I
do.
would I would be afraid of like that with like in Dominican Republic or Colombia more than I would be in Cuba.
Like for example,
there are levels
in
to that, I guess.
Dominican Republic, just to give you how, like an example, you know how here in the U.S., let's say you want to drive your car with the windows down and be on the phone. Boom, you're driving at a light. You don't think twice while you're stopped. Bro, in DR, if you're doing that, one of those guys on a little moped or motorcycle gonna drive by and snatch that fucking phone or watch or even a necklace through that window, and they're gone. My cousin Conrado, he actually told me stories of how he told me he got his phone robbed multiple times, and one of them was he was just in front of a club, and trying to figure out where the next club that they were going to was, right, on the GPS or whatever it was. And guy hopped off of the motorcycle. I think he said he had like a knife or something. Basically told him, give me your phone. He had to give him his phone. And simple as that. Hop back on the motorcycle. Gone.
Later.
Yeah. So same thing is kind of like with jewelry and watches and stuff. Like when I go to DR, my chain is pretty small. So I just make sure it's tucked. I don't really wear any watches except for it's maybe my Casio or something like kind of G-Shock plastic watch or
I don't know.
cheaper
I
watch.
mean, even I remember as a kid wearing fake jewelry that I took over to Cuba, just thick fucking fake gold chains.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I was even alone.
Bro, you talking about Cubans and gold? They can smell the gold from miles away, bro. They looked at it as like this motherfucker wearing that green shit.
No,
His
but
neck is black.
Yeah.
but that's not the same thought because like when you go from here to there, they don't know if it's real or not,
Yeah, they don't.
and it's heavy.
Oh,
they know.
It's heavy as shit. Ah, shit. No. But like if you're going, if a kid is going over there, like
They'll profile you, bro. Like their immediate profile.
No.
They'll look at you.
they're
like,
gonna
"This is a
profile
kid."
you because
will
you're from the
say-
U.S. and you have money. That's
Yeah.
That's what
that's
they do.
actually what they're gonna do. But I will say, I'm talking about when you're going to Dominican Republic in the capital. Now, if you're telling me, hey, we're flying in to Punta Cana, we're just gonna stay in an all inclusive and then come back, bro, take all the jewelry and watches you want. I would say keep it on your person. Like don't put it in your luggage to
Yeah.
fly. Like for example, Doctor has actually had a pair of shoes stolen.
Yeah.
When he
They
them
put
in
his old shoes. Yeah, their old shoes in.
because when you go into an airport, they log everything you have with you, right? So it's not like he can just walk out with an extra pair of shoes. He had to put the shoes, his old shoes, back in the maleta and take Doctor's shoes. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put it in your luggage, but like if you're going to Punta Cana, yeah, take whatever you want.
But I wonder whether that wasn't. There had to be crime of opportunity for that person. He didn't come in that there's like, man, I need new shoes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
no,
look
it was
for
a
new.
crime of opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
He was just like, let me open this.
For sure.
Alright,
He's
got
like,
shoes. I'm
he's
gonna
probably
take them.
looking through the fucking X-ray machine and said, "Yo, those shoes look like they might be my size, bro." Put that back to the side. Opened it up. Was like, "Yo, this is my size." Took them out. Put the other ones in, and went along with his day with some new shoes.
There ain't nothing wrong with your luggage except it ain't mine.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I like Punta
Yeah,
Cana. You know, I was talking to Arthur what vacation we should take. I don't know. I want to do
I
something
want to go
over this
next year
summer.
to Lithuania. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, so every year I have 2 weeks of mandatory that I have to take, like, and I don't want to just sit at home and troll my thumbs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I want to do something, so we'll see. But
Alrighty, guys. Thank you everyone for joining us in the chat. Make sure to always check out Vitality, guys. They have that 4th Street and Park Street locations. Guys, make sure to be signed up with Vitality. I'm telling you, it's what you need. It's what your body's asking for.
it works. It works. I was a naysayer until I tried to do it. It fucking works.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us. All the supporters in the chat tonight. We really appreciate your engagement.